When I got home, I sent a text to Ethan. Is there a new hire starting at the management office tomorrow? His call came a second later. Ms. Ross, you found out? It was my call. I apologize. I thought, it's not your fault. I cut him off. Hire her. And then, do exactly as I say. Jenna sauntered into the building's management office the next morning, her chest puffed with pride, a cheap coffee in one hand and a crumpled notebook in the other. She'd spent hours the night before rehearsing her authoritative tone, mentally listing all the ways she'd make my life miserable. Cut the water during my morning shower. Turn off the electricity while I was on a work call. Accidentally misplace my packages. The possibilities felt endless and delicious. Ethan, ever the consummate professional, greeted her with a stiff smile. Jenna Carter, welcome aboard. I'm Ethan Hale, the building's general manager. Let's get you settled in. He handed her a lanyard with a property manager badge, his eyes giving away nothing. Jenna practically preened as she clipped the badge to her shirt. Thanks, Ethan. I'm really excited to get started. I've heard this building is one of the nicest in the city, and I can't wait to contribute. She shot a quick glance toward the elevator bank, as if hoping I'd magically appear to witness her triumph. Ethan nodded, leading her to a desk near the window. Your primary responsibilities will be tenant relations for the 15th to 20th floors. That includes handling maintenance requests, resolving complaints, and ensuring all services are running smoothly. He slid a folder across the desk. Here's a list of your tenants. Take some time to familiarize yourself with them. Jenna's fingers flipped eagerly to the 18th floor, my floor. Her name was scrawled next to mine, with a tiny star beside the entry. She smiled. Perfect. She'd start with me first. By noon, she'd already made her move. I was in the middle of a video conference with a client when the power cut out. My screen went black. The hum of the air conditioner died, and silence descended. I sat in the dark for a beat, then reached for my phone. A text from Ethan, power outage on 18th floor. Jenna is handling it. I typed back, take your time. 10 minutes later, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find Jenna standing there, feigning concern, her badge glinting in the sunlight streaming through the hallway window. Audrey, I'm so sorry about the power. We're having some wiring issues. Total nightmare. I'm on it, though. Should be back on in. Well, these things take time. She shrugged, a hint of amusement in her eyes. I leaned against the doorframe, my expression neutral. Take all the time you need. I'm just wrapping up a $500,000 contract call that got cut short. But don't worry, my client understands that building management priorities are flexible. Jenna's smile faltered. $500,000? That's not my fault. It's a maintenance issue. Of course, I said. But perhaps you should check with maintenance before cutting power to a tenant's unit during business hours. Just a thought. I closed the door in her face. Through the peephole, I watched her stand there fuming before storming off. The power came back on 5 minutes later. That evening, I found a maintenance notice taped to my door. Scheduled water shutdown, 6 a.m., 8 a.m. tomorrow. Sorry for the inconvenience. It was signed by Jenna. I smiled. She was predictable. At 5:59 a.m. the next morning, I filled every sink and bathtub in my apartment with water. At 6:01 a.m., the water cut off. At 7:30 a.m., there was another knock at my door. Jenna stood there, this time with a maintenance worker trailing behind her. Audrey, I just wanted to check in, make sure the shutdown isn't causing too much trouble. Do you need any help fetching water or anything? Her tone was sickeningly sweet. I stepped aside, letting her see the full tubs and sinks. I prepared. Thanks for the advance notice, though it would have been nicer if it wasn't posted at 7 p.m. the night before. The maintenance worker raised an eyebrow. Ms. Carter, you said the 18th floor tenant was made aware of the shutdown 3 days ago. Jenna's face turned bright red. Well, there was a mix-up with the notifications. It's not my fault. She stormed off again, the maintenance worker following, looking thoroughly unimpressed. Over the next week, Jenna's attempts grew more desperate. She lost my dry cleaning. It magically reappeared in the lobby, lost and found 2 days later, thanks to Ethan. She tried to charge me extra for excessive utility use. Ethan provided the building's record showing my usage was below average. She even attempted to ban my favorite food delivery service from the building, claiming they violated security protocols. Ethan overruled her, citing the service's long-standing approval. Every time she failed, her resentment grew. She'd glare at me in the elevator, mutter under her breath when we passed each other in the office, and spend her lunch breaks complaining to anyone who'd listen about how difficult I was. But no one was buying it anymore. The other tenants on my floor had started to notice her antics, how she prioritized trivial requests from other tenants while ignoring theirs, how she'd spend more time loitering outside my door than doing her job. Even my coworkers had grown tired of her constant drama. When she tried to complain about me to Mark again, he just sighed and said, Jenna, maybe you should focus on your work instead of Audrey. Jenna was unraveling. It all came to a head on a rainy Friday evening. I just returned home from work when I noticed something odd. My front door was slightly ajar. I never left it unlocked. I paused, my hand hovering over the doorknob. I could hear movement inside, soft shuffling, the sound of something being knocked over. I pushed the door open slowly. Jenna was rummaging through my living room, her purse open on the coffee table, filled with my jewelry. She'd pulled open drawers, dumped out books from the shelf, and even torn through the cushions on my couch. When she heard me enter, she froze, a diamond necklace clutched in her hand. For a beat, neither of us spoke. Rain pattered against the windows, casting shadows across her panicked face. What are you doing? I asked, my voice calm. Jenna dropped the necklace, scrambling to close her purse. I was just checking on you. Ethan said you hadn't responded to his text, so I used the master key to let myself in, for your safety. I glanced at my phone, which was sitting on the kitchen counter, fully charged. No missed texts from Ethan. Liar, I said. Jenna's eyes flashed with anger, raw, unfiltered anger. anger. You think you're better than me, don't you? You have everything, money, a nice apartment, a good job. And I have nothing. You wouldn't even let me rent a room for $9.99 a month. You're so selfish, so cold. You deserve to have everything taken away from you. She lunged toward me, her hands outstretched, as if she planned to strangle me. I stepped back, and she stumbled, falling to the floor. She let out a scream of frustration, kicking a nearby chair. You think you've won? She shouted, tears streaming down her face. You think because Ethan does whatever you say, because you have all this money, you're untouchable? Well, you're not. I know things about you, Audrey. Things that would ruin your career, your reputation, everything. I crossed my arms. What things? Jenna smiled, a bitter, twisted smile. Remember 3 years ago, the client who accused you of embezzlement, the one who dropped the charges suddenly? I found the file in Mark's office. You paid them off, didn't you? Used your daddy's money to sweep it under the rug. If that gets out, you'll be fired, blacklisted from every company in the city. I stared at her. That client had been a mistake, a miscommunication about billing that spiraled out of control. I hadn't paid them off. The company's legal team had proven the accusation was false. But Jenna didn't know that. She'd seen a file, jumped to conclusions, and thought she'd found my weakness. How did you get access to Mark's office? I asked. Jenna's smile widened. I'm friends with his assistant. She let me borrow the key. I copied it. I have access to everything now. His emails, his files, his meetings. I can destroy you whenever I want. She stood up, brushing dust off her clothes. So here's the deal. Let me move into your spare bedroom, rent-free. Let me use your car whenever I want. And give me a promotion at work, one that pays twice as much as my current salary. If you do all that, I'll keep your little secret. If not, well, let's just say Monday morning is going to be very interesting for you. I looked at her, and for the first time in months, I felt something, pity. She was so desperate, so convinced that money and power were the only things that mattered, that she'd resorted to theft and blackmail. She had no idea who she was dealing with. Jenna, I said, do you know who Ethan is? She frowned. He's the building manager. So what?